Think about what happens when you get a small paper cut. Within a few days, the skin closes and heals completely. We usually take this for granted, treating our bodies as single, solid objects. Inside you, over 30 trillion microscopic workers operate as a thriving, highly organized society. For most of human history, this society was completely invisible to us. We only began to understand our own biology when tools like this vintage brass microscope allowed scientists to finally see the hidden world. Through those early lenses, scientists discovered two strict rules that govern every living thing on Earth. First, all life is made of cells. Second, the cell is the absolute smallest unit that can survive on its own. To understand the third rule, we look back to the 1800s. Early on, people believed life spontaneously appeared out of thin air or dead matter. But notice what is happening in this historical diagram. A single cell is physically organizing its insides to create a copy of itself. Moving right, the boundary pinches and separates to form a new, distinct organism. This proved that cells must be born from pre-existing parent cells. When you grow taller or heal a cut, you are watching this exact division process multiply your internal workforce. To see how a single cell manages to survive and divide, it helps to imagine it as a bustling factory. Inside the outer walls, cells rely on tiny, specialized machines called organelles. Each organelle has a specific job, operating much like the different departments of a manufacturing plant. When you understand how this microscopic factory operates, you understand how your entire body functions. Every breath you take and every thought you have is powered by millions of these tiny assembly lines doing their jobs correctly. Let's take a quick tour of the floor. The inside of a cell is filled with a jelly-like fluid, but it is highly structured. Products are constantly being built, inspected, and shipped along a coordinated production line. At the center of it all is the nucleus. Think of this as the highly secure blueprint room. It holds the master copy of your DNA, locking away the precise instructions for how to build everything the organism needs to survive. Next, we have the mitochondria. This is the factory's power plant. Its entire job is to take raw fuel, like the sugar from your food, and convert it into the molecular energy that powers all the other cellular machinery. This diagram compares a smooth inner wall to a highly folded one. These deep internal folds solve a space problem. By wrinkling the inner membrane, the cell creates massive surface area, allowing it to pack in far more energy engines and generate massive power. With the power running, the actual building begins. The ribosomes and endoplasmic reticulum act as the physical assembly line, snapping raw materials together to build proteins. Once a product is finished, the Golgi Apparatus acts like a post office, packaging it up and shipping it to wherever it is needed. Finally, no factory can run without waste management. The lysosomes serve as the recycling center. They use acidic chemicals to break down old machinery, turning it back into raw materials. When you jump, blink, or speak, you spend the energy and use the proteins created by these microscopic supply chains running flawlessly in tandem. But nature is incredibly diverse, and not all living things require this level of complex infrastructure. Prokaryotes, like bacteria, are biological studio apartments. They are simple, and every daily task happens in one open space. Without interior walls, they lack a secure blueprint room. Their DNA simply floats freely, mixed with the cellular machinery. Humans, plants, and animals are eukaryotes. This is the mega-mansion model. The interior is divided into separated compartments for specific tasks. The most important feature is the true nucleus. Heavy protective walls lock away delicate DNA, keeping blueprints completely safe from chaotic chemical reactions. This room-based layout allows a single cell to run dozens of complicated chemical processes at the exact same time without them interfering with each other. Because they are efficient, these cells can finally specialize in specific jobs, forming the building blocks needed to construct complex organs like your heart. Biology is a messy, pragmatic process. While the factory model explains most of human life, nature is entirely willing to break its own structural rules to survive in harsh environments. Take the mitochondria, the power plant of our factory. Strangely, mitochondria contain their own separate DNA, completely different from the human blueprints in the nucleus. Scientists now believe this is the result of an ancient corporate buyout. Billions of years ago, independent, free-living bacteria were swallowed by a larger cell. Instead of being digested, the bacteria stayed. They formed a permanent partnership, generating power from the inside while enjoying the safety of the larger organism. Other cells hack their own architecture to do their jobs better. This microscope image shows healthy human red blood cells. Notice how they appear completely hollow in the middle. These cells act as the body's delivery trucks. To maximize their cargo space, mature red blood cells intentionally dissolve their own blueprint room, throwing out their nucleus so they can carry life-saving oxygen to your brain and muscles. But the ultimate rule breakers defy the concept of a cell entirely. Take a look at this image of clustered viruses. Under the strict rules of biology, these are not actually alive. Viruses have no power plants, no assembly lines, and no ability to grow. They are simply pieces of rogue blueprint code wrapped in a shell, drifting through the world until they can break into a living factory and hijack the machinery to copy themselves. This intricate, rule-bending microscopic society is the hidden foundation of your entire existence. If you can explain the cell factory to a friend today and show them what the power plant and the blueprint room do, you already understand the fundamental architecture of life.